3 dark ways to use psychology to control a woman's mind. Ever wondered why we behave the way we do in relationships? Might psychology have the answers? Welcome to our exploration into the intricate and fascinating world of psychology and its undeniable influence on our relationships. Psychology, at its core, is the scientific study of the human mind and behavior. It provides us with insights into why we act, think, and feel the way we do. This understanding becomes particularly relevant when we consider our interactions with others, especially in romantic relationships. In a relationship, we are constantly navigating a complex maze of emotions, behaviors, and reactions. The way we understand and respond to our partner's actions can significantly influence the trajectory of the relationship. Here's where psychology steps in, offering us a roadmap to understand these complex dynamics. Consider this. Aren't we all just a little bit guilty of trying to read our partner's mind, guessing what they might be thinking or how they might react to something we say or do? That, my friends, is psychology in action. But psychology isn't just about understanding human behavior. It's also about influencing it. For instance, knowing your partner's likes and dislikes can help you make choices that strengthen your bond. Understanding their fears and insecurities can enable you to provide the emotional support they need. However, like any powerful tool, psychology can be used for both good and ill. While it can help foster stronger and healthier relationships, it can also be employed to manipulate and control. This is where we start veering into the shadowy realm of dark psychology. Dark psychology refers to the use of psychological tactics for malicious purposes. It involves manipulating someone's thoughts and actions without their consent or awareness. It's a controversial, yet undeniably real aspect of human behavior. But what if these psychological insights were used with darker intentions? Let's delve into this controversial topic. Join us as we unravel the 3 dark ways psychology can be used to control a woman's mind. It's a journey that promises to be educational, enlightening, and perhaps a little unsettling. But it's a journey we believe is essential to understanding the full scope of psychology's power in relationships. Emotional manipulation, a powerful psychological tactic that can twist a person's feelings to one's advantage. Delving into the realm of emotional manipulation, we find a landscape filled with psychological tactics that, when wielded with intent, can control an individual's actions and decisions. Emotional manipulation is like a puppeteer pulling the strings, directing the actions of the puppet without its realization. This manipulation can take many forms. It may be a subtle comment designed to induce guilt or shame, or it could be a grand gesture designed to evoke awe and dependence. The emotional manipulator is a master of reading emotions, knowing just what to say or do to provoke the desired response. For instance, consider the classic scenario of a partner making the other feel guilty for spending time with friends or pursuing personal interests. This is a clear example of emotional manipulation. The manipulator uses guilt, a powerful emotion, to control their partner's behavior and decisions. Or consider the case of a person who always plays the victim, no matter the situation. They manipulate others' emotions to gain sympathy and attention, turning the narrative to their advantage. However, it's crucial to note that emotional manipulation is not a game to be played lightly. It's an unethical practice that can lead to harmful consequences. The manipulated individual may lose their sense of self, their confidence, and in severe cases, their mental health may be adversely affected. Moreover, emotional manipulation can ruin relationships, leading to a cycle of mistrust and resentment. It's a dark path that often leads to heartbreak and isolation. It's a path that no one should tread lightly. As we explore these dark psychological tactics, it's essential to remember that understanding these tactics is not an endorsement to use them. It's a call to be vigilant, to recognize when they are being used against us, and to protect ourselves and our loved ones from their harmful effects. As potent as emotional manipulation might be, it's just the tip of the iceberg. There's more to uncover. Gaslighting, a sinister psychological tactic that can make a person question their own reality. This term, gaslighting, originates from the 1944 film Gaslight, where a man manipulates his wife to the point where she believes she's losing her sanity. But what exactly does gaslighting entail in the real world, and how can it mentally destabilize a person? Imagine being constantly told your memories are incorrect, your feelings are overblown, or your reactions are irrational. This is the reality for victims of gaslighting, a form of psychological abuse that involves manipulating someone to question their own thoughts, memories, and the events occurring around them. The aim is to distort their sense of reality, making them dependent on the gaslighter for what's true. For instance, a gaslighter might deny they ever said something, even if you have clear recollection of it, or they might accuse you of overreacting to a situation they intentionally created, making you feel like you're the problem, not them. This continuous cycle of deceit can lead to a sense of confusion, anxiety, and low self-esteem in the victim. Gaslighting is not a one-off event. It's a gradual, insidious process. It's like the proverbial frog in boiling water. If a frog is placed in boiling water, it'll jump out immediately. But if it's placed in cool water that's slowly heated, it won't perceive the danger until it's too late. Similarly, the damage of gaslighting creeps up over time, eroding a person's confidence and self-trust. This is a serious issue because gaslighting can lead to mental health problems, including depression and anxiety. It can also damage relationships and cause the victim to withdraw from their social circle as they grapple with this distorted sense of reality. It's crucial to recognize the signs of gaslighting: continuous denial of events, shifting blame, trivializing your feelings, or outright lying. If you or someone you know is experiencing these signs, seek help immediately. Remember, everyone deserves respect and honesty in their relationships. Gaslighting, a disturbing method indeed, but hold on. We've got one more dark psychology tactic to reveal: coercive control. A psychological strategy that can rob a person of their freedom and autonomy. This phrase rings a bell, doesn't it? It's a term that's been bandied about in various circles, but what does it really mean? Coercive control is a pattern of behaviors, a systematic campaign that aims to dominate and control the actions, thoughts, and feelings of another person. It's a string of tactics that might not appear harmful individually, but when put together, they paint a picture of subjugation and manipulation. Think about it as a puppeteer pulling the strings, making the puppet dance to their tunes without the puppet even realizing what's happening. Tactics of coercive control can range from subtle to extreme, from emotional blackmail to threats and intimidation. But what's more alarming is the effect it has on the person at the receiving end. The person being controlled may start to lose their sense of self, their confidence, their ability to make decisions. They may feel like they're walking on eggshells, constantly trying to please the controller, living in fear of the next emotional outburst or criticism. While it may seem that the person being controlled is merely putting up with these behaviors, it's important to understand that coercive control is not about compliance. It's about the controller creating an environment where the other person feels there is no other option but to comply. Now, why are we discussing this? It's important to remember that knowledge is power. Understanding these tactics can help us recognize them, and more importantly, reject them. Using coercive control to manipulate someone is not just unethical, it's harmful. It can inflict lasting psychological damage and is a form of abuse. Let's be clear, there is no place for coercive control in a healthy relationship. Relationships should be about mutual respect, understanding, and love. It's about uplifting each other, not tearing each other down. Coercive control, the final dark psychological tactic. Now, what have we learned from these revelations? It's time to take a stand, to say no to manipulation and yes to healthy, respectful relationships. These dark psychological tactics might give a sense of control, but at what cost? A critical question to ponder, isn't it? We've journeyed through the realms of emotional manipulation, gaslighting, and coercive control, three ominous techniques that wield the power to control a woman's mind. These methods, though they may seem effective, carry grave repercussions that can irrevocably mar the landscape of relationships. Let's revisit emotional manipulation, a tactic that thrives on exploiting a partner's vulnerabilities. It might offer a temporary sense of control, but the long-term effects are devastating. The victim often suffers from low self-esteem, chronic anxiety, and even depression. The manipulator, on the other hand, may find themselves isolated as their actions push away loved ones. Next, we have gaslighting, a technique that distorts a person's perception of reality. While it might seem like a powerful tool for control, The eventual outcome is a relationship built on deceit and mistrust. The one being gaslit might lose their sense of self, while the gaslighter becomes a puppeteer orchestrating a tragic play. Lastly, coercive control, the most insidious of all, strips away a person's freedom and autonomy. It might feel like the ultimate control, but it's a ticking time bomb. The controller risks legal repercussions, while the controlled may live in constant fear and oppression. So we circle back to our initial question: at what cost? The price is simply too high. Relationships spiraling into a vortex of mistrust, fear, and despair. Lives entangled in a web of deceit and manipulation. This is the stark reality of employing dark psychology in relationships. But remember, psychology doesn't have to be a tool for control. It can be a bridge to understanding, a pathway to empathy, a key to unlocking the mysteries of the human mind. It can be used to build connections, to foster love and mutual respect. So let's choose wisely. Let's harness the power of psychology to enrich our relationships, to deepen our understanding of each other, to build bridges of trust and empathy. Remember, understanding psychology can be a tool for growth and connection, not a weapon for control and damage.